Today I would like to teach from the book of Enoch, and this would be teaching from the book of Enoch part 1. We would be teaching from what I like to call Enoch's calendar. So Enoch's calendar, year is a 12-month calendar. 364 days in a year, similar to the Jewish calendar. However, instead of 13 months and 28 days that the Jewish calendar uses, the Enoch calendar uses 12 months like we do. It also uses some months of 30 days and some months of 31 days, just like we do. The difference is, from Enoch's calendar and from our calendar, some of the differences is in Enoch's calendar there's one day of 29 days. In our calendar there are there's obviously 1 month of 28 days. In Enoch's calendar there's 1 month of 29 days. So that's one thing that is different. Another thing that is different is in our calendar we have, I believe, 7 months of 31 days and 4 months of 30 days. Well, in the book of Enoch, Enoch says there are months with 30 days and months with 31 days, similar to our calendar that we use. However, I have, created a calendar that probably Enoch is referring to, because when he talks about the months and days and stuff like that, you find that he is talking about a 12-month calendar. So then, and that there are 30 days in some and 31 days in others, and 1 month of 29. But how many months are of 30 days and how many months of 31 days? That's something that the book of Enoch kind of leaves out. And so therefore you have to kind of, do math, and you got to kind of put yourself as a calendar scientist, so to speak. But I have figured it out. And so there are, to equal 364 days, which is also another thing that is different from our calendar year. See, we use 365 days, while Enoch's calendar and the Jewish calendar use 364 days. So how do you get some months in the Enoch calendar? How do you get some months of 30, some months of 31, and 1 month of 29, all, when you add it all up together, equals 364. Well, there should be 6 months of 30 days, 5 months of 31 days, and 1 month of 29 days. That in a 12-month calendar, that's going to give you 364 days. So let me repeat that so you can kind of follow along. In a 12-month calendar, you should have 6 days or 6 months of 30 days, 5 months of 31 days, 1 month of 29 days in a 12-month calendar, which equals 364 days. So now that you are following along, you're able to perhaps, with what I just gave you, you can create a Enoch calendar, what I like to call an Enoch calendar yourself. So what I did here was I did 30, 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, all the way, and I repeated that process all the way to the 12th month, and I just put the 12th month as 29 days. So, and you can do the same at home, and I would encourage you to maybe pause this video, make yourself a Enoch calendar, having 6 months of 30 days, 5 months of 31, and 1 month of 29 days, and then, do what I did. Make yourself a Enoch calendar to understand this. So then from there, you come to a pattern that you're going to start to see. And by the way, before I continue, you would be in Enoch chapter 72. Enoch chapter 72 is what you would be in. So in Enoch chapter 72, you're going to start to see a pattern. Now this is the sun's pattern. This is the pattern of the sun. Of, the days getting longer versus the days getting shorter. So, you start to see a pattern. So this pattern is 30 days, 30 days, 31 days. So let me try to explain this pattern. Enoch gives us a date. In Enoch chapter 72, verse 9, and during this period the day becomes daily longer and the nightly shorter to the 13th morning. So this would be the 13th morning on the first month. So in your Enoch calendar, you want to circle the number 13. That's the morning that this is going to take place. That's the morning that the day is going to be daily longer and the night nightly shorter. So from the 13th day, you're going to count 30 days. So counting 30 days, you come to the 13th day of the second month. So on the 13th day of the second month, right here in verse 12, and then the day becomes longer by 2 parts and amounts to 11 parts. And the night becomes shorter and amounts to 7. So going from the 13th day from the first month, counting 30 days, you land on the 13th day of the second month, and that's where the day becomes longer and the night becomes shorter. Then you go from the second month, the 13th day from the second month, and you count 30 days again. And you're going to come to the 12th day of the third month. And that's where, let me find it. On that day, in verse 14, on that day, the day becomes longer than the night. And the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts, and the night 9, and the night is shortened and becomes 6 parts. So, then from there, you count 31 days. From the 12th of the third month, now you count 31 days. And you end up on the 13th day of the fourth month. So on the 13th day of the fourth month, the day, let me find it, the day decreases by exactly 1 part and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. So let's back up and recap real quick. This will be the closing here shortly. But let's recap. So you're starting at the 13th day of the first month, and you're counting 30 days. That's going to bring you to the 13th day of the second month. Then you count 30 more days. That's going to bring you to the 12th day of the third month. Then you count 31 days, and it is going to bring you to the 13th day of the fourth month. Then it's simple. Then from there, you repeat the process. you count 30 more days to the 12th day of the 5th month, 30 days to the 12th day of the 6th month, then 31 days to the 12th day of the 7th month. And then you repeat until you come back around to the new year. And guess what? You repeat that process to the new calendar year, and you come back around. Guess what day you come back around to? You come back around to the 13th day of the 1st month. Interesting. In our calendar, our 365-day calendar, you cannot do that. So this is telling us that Enoch's 364-day calendar, 6 days of 30, 5 days of 31, 1 day of 29, for 12 months, following the pattern that I just showed you, starting with the 13th day of the 1st month, 30, 30, 31, it is showing us that it follows the pattern of the sun. And then it comes back around to the 13th day of the 1st month. And does our calendar do that? No. This is evidence that our calendar doesn't even follow the pattern of the sun. It doesn't really follow the pattern of the sun. And in part 2, I'm going to show you how our time, our 24 hours a day, our 12-hour clock doesn't follow it either. That will be in part 2. So I hope that those that are watching this video will be with me in part 2, and I can't wait to go through part 2 with you. But hopefully now you have a better understanding of what I like to call Enoch's calendar, and a better understanding that maybe we should be going off of Enoch's calendar instead of our calendar.